Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So today I'm going to be doing my week 24 update video. So this is one of my 4 weekly update videos that covers all the different revenue streams. So this is the 6th of these 4 weekly update videos. Effectively, it's a 6-month update video. So as well as going over the last 4 weeks, we'll look at how everything's been performing sort of year to date. Now, because I'm doing these every 4 weeks as opposed to every month, it does mean that we'll have a 13th update, an additional kind of 4 weeks right at the end of the year. But effectively, this is really looking like somewhere around the kind of 6 monthly update video. So we'll have a good idea about how things are going and what we think is going to happen in the next 6 months. And if you aren't following this, there'll be links to all the previous update videos and the original goals video below. But basically at the beginning of the year, I set a target. So I looked at different kind of crypto sort of revenue streams, and I set a target of $100 a week for each one. So we had masternodes, staking, trading, investing, and then social. And I've been sort of busy at work, kind of like, trying to kind of get through all these different kind of revenue streams. So I've been, I set up masternodes, we're doing a masternode experiment, staking, I've been doing some trading, we've got some investment, and then social is mainly YouTube and sort of Steam it and stuff like that. So anyway, let's jump straight in and have a look at the figures. So starting with the staking revenue, so you can see here massively off where we wanted to be. Now at the beginning of the year, obviously I didn't have that many coins. I was hoping that the coins would compound up as the year went on. It's very difficult to see because of the scale, the difference in these, the scales on the kind of graphs. But we have had a bit of an uptick these last few weeks. And indeed, if I jump over to this is the graph from my staking update videos, but you can see this trend line that we are trending up. So we started probably the year about $4.50 a week, and we're up over $10 a week now through this kind of trend line. So we're moving in the right direction. I think the chance of getting anywhere near $100 is really pretty minimal now. The other reason is that I have sold a chunk of my kind of staking coins. So a lot of these coins are pretty small cap, and when they have like a really big spike up in price, I have been selling some, and in some instances I've been buying back, but in some instances I've just been selling for kind of Bitcoin and then buying different projects or different kind of coins, or just holding in Bitcoin. So we haven't been sort of compounding or restaking all our staking rewards with this, which has affected us a little bit. I think if we'd done that, hadn't sold anything, we'd be a little bit higher. I don't think we'd be anywhere near where we wanted to be, but maybe we'd be about an eighth of the way there rather than where we are. So I think realistically, the chances of reaching $100 a week with the staking stuff is pretty minimal. Now I am adding staking coins in. For example, last week I added Stellar, which is actually sort of inflation rewards, but effectively the same thing. So I added that into the experiment, and I've been accumulating more Neo, more Stellar, stuff like that. We may have Cardano staking going live later this year. It may be into next year now, I don't know. So that might kind of help a little bit. But I think realistically, if we're around the sort of 25% of where we wanted to be, I think that's more realistic of where we can get to this year. So moving on to masternodes, and if I do the same thing and jump over to the graph from the masternode pouch, you can see again the trend line is generally up. We had these first few weeks which were fantastic, so it did really well. Then we had that all the issues with Bulwark, so the dev team walking out, and then the hack on Cryptopia, which meant the prices kind of plummeted, and then we went down to this kind of like week 8 kind of low, and we have climbed back up. So we've climbed quite strongly back up from there. In particular, Metrics has had a really good year, and that's been one of our larger kind of masternodes, so that's had a really good year. And then even some of the small ones like Helix has had a pretty decent year as well, and Syndicate's in positive territory. So we're just under 25% of where we wanted to be. I think to get to 100% will require a decent kind of turn up in kind of price, really. I think realistically, Bulwark needs to get onto a really decent exchange and see some of its former kind of like price increases. But if Bitcoin continues to increase, I think we should be somewhere around 50% of where we wanted to be. So I think the $50, a week, and with a decent tailwind, might get towards that sort of 75%. I think 100% will be difficult now. Really, I think if Bulwark had a decent kind of year along with kind of Metrics and maybe Smart Cash with a decent increase in price, we could have maybe got there. But as I said at the beginning of the year, I chose 6 masternodes. They were all pretty low cap, pretty cheap masternodes to run. I didn't want to add. I mean, I could just add more masternodes into this revenue pot in order to generate more revenue. But I picked 6 at the beginning of the year that I thought potentially could, with a decent year, get to that kind of $100 a mark. I think it's looking a little bit more unlikely now, but if we get to between that sort of $50 and $100, ideally maybe somewhere around the $75 a week mark, then I'd be pretty happy with that, I think, going forward. So let's move on to trading revenue. Now, as you can see here, quite a bit of fluctuation. The last few weeks we've been pretty much matching the line. So this is not really me doing a huge amount more trading, but more just the fact that the trades that I've been making, and often the same kind of trades that I was making kind of down here, but because the prices of the coins have increased substantially, it just means our dollar amount of those profitable trades has increased. The issue with the trading kind of experiment is that because I set $100 a week kind of target, means when I've been away, so there was a week here when I was away, and there were been, I think, 2 or 3 weeks where I've been away this year. It does mean that, you know, not really taking any, not really doing any trading while I've been away, and it does mean then I have to then kind of make up for those kind of poor weeks as we go forward. Now, I think if the prices continue to kind of increase, I think we can realistically, I think we can get to that $100 a week mark by the end of the year. I think we should really sort of like start to kind of move up back towards this line. So if I continue doing what I've been doing and the prices continue to go up, I think we should start moving back towards this line, and I'm reasonably confident that we can get back to our overall target by the end of the year with a decent 6 months ahead of us. So trading's going reasonably well. The ironic thing with the kind of trading is that obviously I am putting the kind of price in, so I'm putting these figures together based on the price of everything on the day that I'm trading. Now, the vast majority of cases, in no cases have I actually sold for fiat, but I'm kind of trading and making some in Bitcoin. I think realistically, the price of Bitcoin now, if you actually added up all the satoshis that I've earned from this kind of trading, we would be actually above that line already. But I have to be kind of fair. I have to kind of put in the prices on the day that they were kind of trading. So that's why I'm relatively optimistic that if the prices continue to go up, we can get back to that line. Now, investing has been by far the most profitable so far. Excuse me. This is our investment portfolio. It's not the largest portfolio, but it was something that I wanted to kind of show that if you had, just kind of few coins and some solid coins, if the prices went up, then you should be able to make some reasonable kind of money. So we have some small amounts here. These were my first initial ones. I think these were like £100 buys. Yeah, so $103.99. This was buying through Coinbase through a credit card, so you obviously have a bit of a fee. So we had a few of these sort of early and middle of 2017, right through to the end of 2017, I was kind of buying. The majority of these are in kind of profit. Then we had this kind of like period here when I was buying Navcoin quite heavily, and they're all massively kind of down. And then I was buying sporadic things. I bought a couple of little bits of Ethereum sort of middle of 2018, trying to buy the dip really, which didn't really work. Those are still substantially down. I bought some, this was Monaco coin at the time, it's now crypto.com, because I was interested in locking up just 50 of them for their one of their crypto debit cards, and it's actually, we bought this on the 22nd of June. It's the 19th of June today. So a year later, still no sign of those kind of cards. They launched them in Singapore, but no sign of the cards in the US or Europe, or indeed here in the UK. So that's disappointing. A year later, not seeing any movement. But the price is up for that, so that's good. And this crypto.com original coin also airdropped something called crypto.com chain, which is actually probably worth a lot more than the actual crypto.com coins. Now, because those chain coins are all locked up, or everything that's been airdropped is locked up, I imagine once that airdrop, or once that lockup period finishes, the price will plummet of that kind of crypto.com chain. But I think they're just desperately looking for a way of people keeping hold of their crypto.com tokens, their MCO Monaco tokens, because it's been such a delay in getting the kind of cards out. And then right at the end of last year, I mentioned this in a couple of videos, so right at the end of November, 29th of November, I think this was when Bitcoin went to $4,000 and a little bit below, and I said then that it had reached a level where I was comfortable kind of investing again, and then I started buying back in. My plan was to buy £1,000 a week, probably through to the sort of about now really, probably through to the middle of the year, and I only actually kind of managed about 6 weeks of kind of purchases before, just a bit of a change in financial situations with work, so I had to stop doing that, which is a bit of a shame. But as you can see, all these kind of purchases up massively with the price increase in Bitcoin. The only one that's a bit of an outlier here is Bulwark. The price of Bulwark is actually massively down. Now the reason is this is on Crypto Compare, and they only use a few exchanges, and I think the price for Bulwark was taken from Cryptopia. And what happens with all the altcoins, they work out the price by working out the number of satoshis that altcoin is worth, and then taking the price based on the price of the satoshis, or the Bitcoin price equivalent. So basically, when Cryptopia went down, the price of Bulwark on that day in satoshis was locked in, and because the price of Bitcoin has probably doubled since then, it does mean, or tripled even, it does mean that it looks like the price has gone up massively, where in effect it hasn't. So this is way out. The price of Bulwark is way down compared to what I bought even at the end of last year, beginning of January. When was it? 27th of December. If it continues to the end of the year, I'll work this out manually, but I'm hoping that if Bulwark gets back on a decent sized exchange, it will then just be picked up by Crypto Compare and amended automatically. So if you want to have a look at the portfolio, it's there. It's not a huge portfolio, but you can have a look and see what's in there. I've linked that below, but the investment revenue up massively, so we are currently up, I think it's over $14,000 in profit, so that's fantastic. So we're looking at 2,400, and we're up about 14,000 on the year to date. So we had that first week where we were well above the target, and then we dropped below. We sort of followed the line along, but we sat there basically for the first 3 months of the year, and then we had a nice spike up, bit of sideways movement, and then these big spikes in prices, as you can see, over the last couple of months. So let's move on to social. Now this has probably been the worst performing. This is basically just YouTube revenue. There's the occasional Vulture affiliate payment, which is about $10. So thanks very much for anybody who signed up to Vulture using my affiliate link. So you can see there's, I think there's been 3 or 4 of those this year, but this is basically kind of just YouTube revenue. And it's been pretty poor. It decreased sort of like month on month for the first sort of 4 or 5 months this year. I think June is going to be a better month than May, but it sort of went down month after month after month. So I earned less in Feb than in January, less in March than in Feb. And we're just starting to see a little bit of an upswing. I'm hopeful that if the crypto markets kind of turn around, then we'll get a lot more exposure. There'll be a lot more people maybe searching for things. And, you know, I need to put a lot more work and kind of effort into kind of some of the YouTube stuff. I quite enjoy kind of making the kind of videos, but I need to maybe get a more regular sort of scheme of releasing kind of videos, and maybe put a little bit more work into kind of promoting those. But I don't think we'll get anywhere near the kind of $100 mark. If we could get to sort of $25 a month, $25 a week rather, I'll be really happy with that. The channel, ironically, was doing that back in sort of end of 2017, beginning of 2018. It's making far more than it does today, with a lot less subscribers and less views. But anyway, if we get you know, more positive sentiment, if Bitcoin goes above 10,000, starts heading towards 20,000 by sort of later half of this year, maybe by the end of the year, if we're heading towards sort of 15, 20,000, I think that will maybe bring more interest into kind of crypto, and hopefully that will drive a few more views and a little bit more revenue. But yeah, I don't expect to be anywhere near where I'd like to be, unfortunately, with the social side of things. And then we've got the total revenue here, really boosted up by the investment portfolio, but we're well above our target, which is fantastic to see. So we had that first week where we were above, and then we've been below for weeks and weeks and weeks, up until sort of week 19. I think this was week 18, 19, and then the last sort of 5 weeks we've been above target, which has been really good to see. We've had these kind of little surges in price, a little pullback, and then other surges in price, which has been you know, really kind of like turbulent kind of time, but it's been a really kind of optimistic time as well. So if we jump and have a look at the actual figures rather than looking at the graphs, as you can see here, at week 24, 2,400 for each of them, 12,000 total, and these are the actual amounts. So you can see here, this is a percentage of, you know, what percentage of that target we hit. So 7.5% for staking, 21.6 for masternodes, 55.5 for trading, 588 for investing. It's the investment portfolio, the increase in prices has really bowed us out, and then just 6.4 for social. So it's a grand total 135.8% of where we would like to be. So we're above target by 35.8%. That's fantastic. The actual amount, we're up total of $16,294. So that's a difference of $4,294. So we're $4,294 ahead of target at the week 24 update. And then just finally, sorry, it's been a bit of a long rambling video this one, but just finally I just want to show you my coin accumulation targets. So this was right at the beginning of the year, so I set these accumulation targets. This is what I had right at the beginning of the year, and then this is where we are now. So you can see we've increased Bitcoin a little tiny bit, but we've had decent increases in particularly in Stellar, Neo, a little bit of XRP as well. So this was right at the beginning of the year. See, no EOS or IOTA. I bought a token amount of these with just some residual BTC from trading the other day, just so I had something to put in the graphs. But you can see here just 36 IOTA, 9.9 EOS, but XRP up to 2,000. Stellar, we're almost halfway towards our target with Stellar, so that's been pretty decent. Neo, I've just been buying these with trading profit. So when Neo spikes up in price, I generally sell 100 of them and then been buying back, like, 102, 103, 105, something like that. So we've gone from 205 up to 272 for Neo. Small increases kind of across the board. This isn't part of my kind of targets. This is just a long-term kind of target. But a couple of people asked me about it a couple of weeks ago, actually. So I just wanted to kind of show you that as well. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Ask me any questions in the comments below. It's always good to hear from you. Always nice to hear how your portfolios are doing, what you're kind of concentrating on, whether you're kind of trading or staking or running masternodes, whether you're investing, whatever you're doing. Let me know in the comments below. Always nice to hear from you. Give me a thumbs up, that'd be fantastic, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.